Good now, guys. TalkNorwichCity here, back for another week of the TNC podcast, week 45.
Whoa!
We're nearly a year in.
Well done,
Yeah, first of all, mate, how are you doing?
Super good, thank you very much.
I mean, we've got a lot to talk about.
We have.
It's Monday, it's the day after Derby Day, and as Paddy Davitt beautifully described it, he described it as a technicolour canvas of contrasting emotions.
Wow, lovely
and I
piece
think
there
from a very much more educated man than us, as
agreed.
I've just shown very well with that horrific use of vocabulary, that is probably the best way to describe what was a fairly chaotic day.
So weird, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, where do we even start? Should we start from the beginning of the
day?
No,
let's start with a plug.
Okay, plug.
Please subscribe on YouTube. We are nearly at 13,000 subscribers, which is nearly the same attendance of which Ipswich got against Burton a few weeks ago. We are nearly at Ipswich's average attendance for this season.
Jack, come on, behave.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't be immature.
This is your
Ipswich.
job, isn't it? This is your job.
Don't give Ipswich too much banter.
And yeah, so if you haven't already, if you're watching this, if you're a new person, subscribe, and also subscribe on iTunes. That way, it will go into your podcast app every single week. I didn't realise how many podcast apps there were. I thought it was just your podcast app on your iPhone.
What? Apparently, more than one.
Apparently, there's loads.
By the way, I'm going to say something. Thanks to everyone that came and said hello to us on Sunday.
Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice. And thanks to everyone that continues to watch us week in, week out.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, but fair play.
And there was some Ipswich fans who came up to us and said...
Hey, by the way, the Ipswich fan that did the post-match reaction.
He was a lovely boy.
Spoke complete... I mean, go and watch it if you've not already. I thought he spoke complete sense.
I mean...
So fair play.
It's been a bit of a chaotic week, hasn't it? We've done the podcast with Benjamin, who was the first ever guest in this new shrine. And by the way...
We need to talk this through, don't we?
Your Crofty shirt on the wall.
Lee Croft.
You can just about see this Flyby shirt. What year is that from? Is that 07?
I don't know, but that's actually a kid's... That was me as a kid.
It does look quite small.
So Lee Croft's, again, central there. I think we might have Hucks on there as well, actually.
Why are you such a fan of Lee Croft?
He's a top man. Love you, Crofty.
He is, and he also tweeted the podcast out very kindly. Didn't he?
Lee Croft's a buddy, to be honest.
Indeed.
That's where the cauliflower cheese story comes in,
of course.
which you wouldn't have forgotten.
Yeah, for a main meal.
What
Still
can I
question that. I love Lee Croft, but I question his choice of main meal.
And by the way, did you see his banter before the Ipswich game?
I did, yeah.
That definitely
what a goal he scored.
That definitely wasn't motivated by what I said to him.
Well, you're a social media man, aren't you? That's your day.
Oh, that was classic though, wasn't it? The 1-0
It was. It was an iconic
Beauty.
picture, nearly as iconic as the Tim Close pictures that I'm sure we'll get on to.
By the way, on a serious note, he is an absolute nutter, isn't he?
Oh, I love it. He's definitely lost a few brain cells along the way.
I think all that heading is taken out of him.
Mate, our defence at the moment just gives me so much joy. You've got Tim Close, who's an absolute nutter. You've got Hanley, who's a proper Brexit-style defender in terms of just no-nonsense British football.
Okay.
And then you've got Zimmerman, quite a classy German. I thought didn't have his best game on Sunday. Anyway, we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
Let's quickly touch on the Benjamin Bloom podcast. It's, I think, now the second most viewed podcast ever, behind Rust, the head of Mr. Humphrey, Lappin, Huckabee.
Wow.
I think.
Well done, Benjamin.
A lot of people loved it. It was the second most liked podcast ever. A lot of people didn't quite get the vibe. Do you have a message for any Norwich fans or Ipswich fans or anyone who didn't quite appreciate that podcast as much?
Well, for all of you that have only just started watching, we actually have a wee agenda here that Jack makes up, and we normally have a bit of a chat about the general vibe of it, how it's going to play out. If we have a guest on, we'll normally talk about what are the things to say or to not say, what subjects to avoid. Benjamin is a top man, one of the best guests we've had on, particularly an Ipswich fan. I thought he was quite brave to do so. Put his head on the line, so to speak, with a lot of Norwich fans. Look, I think personally, we, if you want to call it, we got it a wee bit wrong. I mean, look, it was just a bit of banter. I'm a massive, passionate Norwich fan. Jack here is the professional journo. It's what he does for a living, but I'm always going to be a supporter. To be honest with you, I'm not the kind of guy that's to sit on the fence, and I do hate Ipswich. It was just banter, not to go full Richard Keys, but it was just banter. If you watched it as a Norwich fan and you found it a bit cringy, apologies perhaps, but thanks for continuing to watch. But I don't really particularly regret it.
And I think the people that did watch it all the way through, we even had people come up to us at the game on Sunday and say, look, I found it a bit cringy at the start, but then when I watched it through I realised the vibe. And
the handshake, for example.
Yeah.
We discussed the fact that as a bit of a joke and a laugh, we weren't going to do the handshake. And then afterwards we were going to do the handshake because he had a message behind the whole podcast, which was, don't be a dick on Derby Day. That was the message behind it. So anyway.
And only 12 people were a dick and they got arrested for it.
Yeah.
Which was good. Anyway, let's talk about Sunday. I mean, first of all, I think they are probably the worst ever set of fan cams I've ever done from a professional point of view, because I just didn't know what questions to ask, because we'd gone from... The first half was in the balance, wasn't it? Ipswich probably edged it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, I kept turning around to you and going, it's coming, the goal is coming, the goal is coming. And then Chambers pops up and I was shell-shocked. I thought, well, it's over. This 9-year run is over. You were slumped in your seat. I just turned around and smiled. I was dying inside, but where we sit, you can't act like you're hurt because you're going to get destroyed for it. So I turned around and smiled at the Ipswich fans. There is something quite special about seeing them away and just erupt. But when it's your arch enemy, it's not that nice. And then you think, well, it's over, and you're preparing for that. It's almost like... It's almost like going through some kind of breakup, isn't it? You're like, well, we did have it, and now it's gone. How do we deal with this?
Okay, Jack, are you speaking from experience there, buddy?
No, not at all. All of my breakups I've been very glad of.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
But it was a sore point, wasn't it? And then Grant Hanley and Tim Close combine, and
what was even the link there? You're just giving me a statement. Do you want to ask me a question about that?
I'm still at a slight...
Oh yeah, that was it.
No,
so you at the end.
You keep talking. I'm just going to move this camera. Okay. It's framed very well.
So I was actually saying to myself at the end. I mean, I actually, for all of you that don't know, I film all of the post-match content while Jack does his thing, and it was the first time, being the cameraman for TNC, that I realised all of a sudden that Jack had completely lost the plot. And Jack, he is obviously extremely good at what he does, and he doesn't lose his cool. But if you watch the fan cams the weekend, you realise that Jack can't get his words out. And it got to the point, I can't remember which interview it was, I actually almost stopped the camera for the first time ever just to say, Jack, hello, you in, mate? And he just couldn't get his word. I mean, but look...
But what question do you ask after that?
I don't know. As you said, Jack, it was just such a... how you can't even, I don't think, really look at that game from a analytical, technical, tactical point of view. I don't think you can. It was just so... Not just because of the fact that Ipswich actually, almost beat us. It just even the ending, the game throughout, the formation Mick McCarthy played...
And we'll get to the content that came out after that game, because Ipswich are the gift that just keep on giving, aren't they, in some sense? But I forgot what I'm going to say.
Why don't we start from the march, Jack?
The march. Yeah, let's start from that.
I would just like to say, well done to Along Club Nodge and the Barclay End Project, or is it called Barclay Norwich?
Yeah.
Barclay and Norwich, for organising such a fantastic fan march. I thought it was great to see.
It was.
By the way, so many people turned up.
So many.
It was almost kind of a bit kind of Bayern Munich Celtic kind of some kind of Russian mafia-esque thing. I loved it.
It looks so glorious when you've got. I think first of all, when you're on the ground, you don't realise how many people are there.
There was so many more than we thought.
There was then videos of the people up in the flats.
Yeah,
it was the whole of Riverside. And when you've got the blue skies and the beautiful
flares,
ambient yellow on the ground.
Shout out to Snads.
It wasn't Snads who purchased pyro, to any Norfolk Constabulary officers listening. And it also wasn't me who broke my chair, for anyone.
Yeah, by the way, it actually wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I don't know who done that.
It might be me, actually.
There was some chap. I tell you what, I mean, you're built well. But
mate, honestly, on a serious note, I've got to say this again. Not only was I crushed up against the wall... we sit right next to the wall in Barclay. I always fell over the edge. My glasses, were like this at one point, like half on my ear, half off my ear. And I thought they were going to go.
Yeah.
Managed to get myself together, and then I fell forward 3 rows, and then I kind of chose to go 6 rows ahead just to kind of say hi to the Ipswich fans.
Yeah.
I
was going to say...
Anyway, the march.
No. So, in that kind I think I know who broke my seat, and I don't actually know his name.
Right, okay.
But you're built well, but this chap... I saw he had his shirt off, so you've obviously got to be pretty proud of it. Well, it's either you're very proud of yourself or you're very fat. That's the only people who take their shirts off. So like me, very average body, you're not taking your shirt off. Anyway, this guy, he is ripped. Like, he is like front row hooligan style. And he turns around and he was like, I'm from Stockholm. He was like, I've come from Stockholm for the game. He's like, I'm Norwich's biggest fan. I love what you do.
Well, that's what he does then.
I'm like, if we ever want some bloody ammunition, our Swedish fan is our man.
If you're watching Stockholm Mafia Man,
I just saw him. I just saw this Swede flying towards me, and I'm like, shit, you're built like a bloody tank. And my seat just went.
I must have
flying
been
Swedes.
I
and
must
not
have been
the vegetable.
kissed. I must have been kissed on the forehead by at least 6 fully grown men.
Yeah,
which is absolutely fine. I must have kissed 3 or 4 myself. We had Joe Peake, aka by the way, Joe. This guy called Joe, who's a Norwich fan that watches all of these.
And I'll tell you what, Norwich's best DJ as well.
Norwich's best DJ. He managed to sneak in an umbrella.
No, not an umbrella. A bloody parasol.
Yeah, that was it. A parasol.
The programme sellers.
How did he even get that?
So there's some poor geezer selling programmes.
I'll have to tweet
how
that
did
out.
he get it? Second of all, how did he get it in the stadium?
Oh, no idea. But, so let's just backtrack again. Fan march. Yeah. Great effort from everyone for organising it. Thanks to all the Norwich fans that got behind it and backed it. I think we definitely need to do it more often, not just for Ipswich. And arguably, I think the games where we struggled home this season, maybe we should have done it more. Maybe it needs to be more of a regular thing.
I think it's that fine balance, isn't it, between... You don't want to do it too much because it will lose its value, but you do want to keep it regular. I think I was speaking to John Punt today, who organised it, and he was saying they're hoping to do a bigger and better one for the final home game of the season, which isn't actually that far away.
I think that fan march epitomised kind of what Norwich City should be about.
And where we're at as well.
Yeah, totally. Get behind it.
That wouldn't have happened last season.
No, totally agree.
Let's try and talk about this game then, because this is our only chance really to dissect it in a analytical manner. Not that we're very good at that the best of times, especially after a game like this. But so let's start from the very beginning then.
Yeah.
Team formation, Mick McCarthy's formation. What are you thinking before the game's even kicked off that you've seen that team use?
I mean, Jack, to be honest with you, I was very, very surprised that they didn't start their best player in Selena.
Yeah.
And I was more surprised that they didn't bring him on.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Mick McCarthy matched us like for like with regards to formation.
Benjamin said he didn't think he'd do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know what? Fair play. Not to back Mick McCarthy. What an absolute legend, by the way.
I love Mick McCarthy.
Did you see his post-match presser, by the way?
Yeah, very bitter.
What is he doing?
Yeah. There's something...
Again, diving... And by the way, he definitely told the Ipswich fans to off, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. It's either that or he's had an unpleasant stay in the Holiday Inn and he's swearing at that, but...
Yeah, because it was directed towards the Holiday Inn, wasn't it? So maybe
it's obvious it's at the Ipswich fans.
That is a sad state of affairs, isn't it? And I did see, I believe it was you that quote retweeted that tweet on TalkNorwichCity today. About it was the guy that is the East Anglian Daily Times.
Stuart Watson, yeah.
Yeah, who summarised that Mick McCarthy and just the general vibe of Ipswich. Yeah. This isn't me diving on Ipswich. I feel very, very grateful that we've now got a direct a head of football, whatever you want to call him, Stuart Webber, that's so open and transparent. And you've got a club like Ipswich where everything's behind closed doors. You've got a crook that owns the club. It's just, Anyway, so to break the game down as such, honestly, I thought Ipswich in the first half were the better team. Honestly, throughout the game, Jack will back me up here. I was constantly saying to Jack, this is Ipswich's to lose. I honestly thought after, by the way, we can't rely on Maddison. We cannot continue to rely on Maddison to get us out of trouble. By the way, fantastic free kicks. And again, to credit Ipswich, I believe you call him Bart in goal. Yeah. Blazakowski?
Something like that. We'll call him... I think it's Bill.
Let's call him Big B.
Big B.
Big B. A couple of cracking saves.
Really
and I said it in my post-match reaction, but man of the match for Ipswich. And
man of the match in the game, I think.
You think?
Oh, no, because he made the mistake, didn't he, for the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
But look, I thought first half, and actually, to be honest with you, the start of the second. Well, actually, no. Whole first half was Ipswich, and very surprised that we went in at 0-0, and I was shitting it, to be honest with you, Jack. I was nervous, and I could see a goal coming from a set piece. I did say 1-1, by the way.
You did,
yeah. Credit.
You did. Ipswich top set piece scorers of the Championship.
I was honestly preparing for the worst. I was genuinely thinking Ipswich have finally done it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they didn't. I really don't.
I know this is going to be very tough for you, but what did you make of Angus Gunn's performance?
No, honestly, I'll be open about it. I'm sure Angus will admit, I think if you're the difference is, and actually I think it's an advantage that the German and all of the foreign exports have, is yes, they might not completely understand the derby. So, for example, someone like Leitner goes into it, in my opinion, quite cool-headed, apart from his celebrations, by the way, where he's literally screaming at the Barclay. But someone like Leitner, someone like Pinto, someone like Vrancic, again, they're probably going to go into the derby quite cool-headed, quite kind of calm and collected, which is useful because the derby's so full of emotion. And look, I remember, Angus sitting next to me when we beat Ipswich 4-1. Of course, Grant Holt scored that hat-trick. The mic was on as the tash. And, Angus is as passionate as anyone, just to throw him in a bit of trouble. I remember at the end giving it large to the Ipswich fans with Angus. And he is a fan. His blood runs green and yellow, that boy. And I'm sure he will admit that, he had a shaky start. I think, to be honest with you, I thought a couple of his saves. There was a deflected shot. He had to palm one out. I thought that the free kick that came in from 40 yards was actually a very, very good free kick. I don't think it was the end of the world that you had to parry that. And at the end of the day, you can't complain because we didn't let a goal in at that point.
No, and I'm definitely not blaming Angus, but I think that the general vibe around the whole squad was we looked nervous. I thought,
definitely.
I think Zimmerman didn't have his best game. He looked
close
shaky.
as well. Close scored, of course.
That goal, he had a
so many misplaced passes, Jack.
And that massive chance as well in that second half.
Mate, we succumbed in the first half to Ipswich's style of football.
And that's a credit to Ipswich.
Rugby. Fair play. It was aggressive. It was nasty. It wasn't nice to watch. But as soon as we started playing our style of football, I thought we were fantastic. And you know what? Angus has played well in literally every single game this season. And to be fair, he only let one in. And from a set piece, a goalie's always going to get beaten from a set piece, in my opinion.
Yeah, I found it strange that a lot of Ipswich fans and Mick McCarthy, well, first of all, he substituted Joe Garner off. I think Joe Garner epitomises a derby footballer, and I think you need a Joe Garner in your squad. And I think the thing that said to me, I wish we had a player like that, was in the first half, maybe not the whole season, but in a derby. Can you remember when Jamal, it was down near us, and Jamal Lewis was just kind of guarding the ball out, and the ball was obviously going out, and Garner just pushes him. He knows what he's doing. He's in front of the Ipswich fans. Yeah. Lewis is a youngster. He's not going to retaliate. Pushes him straight into the advertising boards. He knows he's not going to get booked for that either.
Yeah.
Them kind of things.
By the way, ref should have got the cards out earlier. I will say that.
But he bloody got them out second half.
Well, yeah, but he needed to, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I thought he should have taken control of the game a wee bit more.
Did you think any of them dives were penalties in that first half? Because I thought we got quite lucky.
Mate, it was a close. I mean, to be fair, I thought the officiating for both sides was pretty questionable. The lino on the side of the Ipswich fans was bad for both teams.
I mean, there was one occasion where the ball literally went about 2 foot off the pitch.
What are you doing? Like, literally, it does surprise me.
That is the biggest difference between the Premier League and the Championship. The standard of officiating is just woeful.
I think the standard of officiating, full stop, is woeful. I mean, I interviewed Jermaine Genius for another digital publication, and he had mentioned to me that the standard of refereeing is so bad, and he is of the opinion that we actually need former footballers becoming referees because they will understand, and maybe footballers will respect them more. But to be honest with you, I think they need to clamp down. I think referees fall into the trap of being disrespected. Why has the ref not got his cards out earlier on in that game? It would have created a more free-flowing game of football, which of course plays into the favour of Norwich. But I tell you off on a completely different random thing that I've just thought of, which we need to mention. The whole, what was the chant towards Mick McCarthy that the Ipswich fans sung?
Your football is shit. Oh, Mick McCarthy, your football is shit.
I mean, that was hilarious, wasn't it?
And it plays into... I was speaking to Malcolm Roberts in the office today. He was saying, you don't... If you think that, then maybe sing it at home to like Bolton or someone. You don't sing it in the 80th minute.
I think honestly it sums them up. It just sums them up as a club where they're at. It does.
I do get that almost that apathy towards Mick McCarthy, but he's doing whatever you think of him. He's doing a good job on the budget he's got at Ipswich. I know it's the style of football. I know it's the lack of ambition from the owner.
Incredibly disrespectful and quite arrogant towards the Ipswich fans. And at the end, of course, he walked out of the presser as he got asked that question about the Ipswich fans singing his name, and then he walks out. And I think to me there is a definite divide. But anyway, who cares? Long live Mick McCarthy.
Okay, so first half's gone. We go in at 0-0.
Yeah.
I'm thinking at this point this is perfect. It's playing into our hands.
You keep telling me we're going to win it.
I do, and I thought the plan from Daniel Farke's point of view was we know that McCarthy's side is going to be bigger and stronger and a bit more bustle about them and try and knock us off the ball. We'd survived the first half. I thought we'd done well to survive that, and lucky on instances as well. I think if Ipswich would have had a bit more quality going forwards, they could have probably gone ahead. Mm-hmm. So for me, you get in at 0-0, happy days, you're shooting towards the Barclay. Angus hasn't got the sun in his eyes anymore, by the way. Why has he not got a hat on? Kit man, what are you doing?
Angus, sort that out, buddy.
You need a hat.
Robert Green style.
Indeed. And I'm thinking, let's try and implement our style of football onto this pitch. And we did in that second half. And Maddison, 2 great saves from Bart. Oliveira with a great chance and a great save. Yeah. That sums Oliveira up at the moment. Just so unlucky.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because if he'd scored against Ipswich, and to be fair, I still believe as soon as Nelson scores his next goal, he's going to go on a scoring streak.
I still don't think he's in the correct system, though. I don't think the system.
No. Mate, I 1,000,000% agree with that. Nelson needs to be playing with someone off of him, 100%. Yeah. He needs that. You saw as soon as the midfield got closer to him, he was thriving. That's where he's good. And to be fair, that's when he stops drifting out wide, which of course you don't like.
No,
so
100%. And dropping deep, but that's not his job, and it's probably the system not helping him out. But we get to 80 minutes, and you think it's got to be coming now. It's got to be coming. And then Chambers comes up with an absolute sucker punch. And I've watched that corner back a lot because when it was watching live, it just looked like he'd had a free run, didn't it? But it was a great set piece and it was a great run from Chambers. And it's almost one of them goals where you just go, couldn't do much about that.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Because it's hard. You can overanalyse things. And I genuinely don't think we've done much wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, Tete was fairly weak there.
But just a great run from Chambers.
You can't really save those. To win it. But that's why, and I said to you throughout, we've got to score when we're on top, Jack. We've got to score. When Close missed that chance, I was already very angry at him. But to be fair, he came up with the goods at the end, didn't he?
He did indeed. So I guess this is probably a silly question, but at 1-0, 94 minutes on the clock, you're thinking, well, what is going through your head at that point? What are you thinking? Is it almost a relief? Because I saw Michael Bailey say he almost felt a weight off the shoulders that we didn't have this run to kind of live up to anymore. Or were you of the opposing?
I was starting to prepare my post-match, post-mortem, and I was preparing for the abuse that the Ipswich fans were going to, of course, give me, which was deserved, to be fair. That I was preparing for the worst. I genuinely thought we were going to lose the game, and I genuinely think that we were lucky to get out of it. I do. I thought it was a great header by Timmy, and the absolute desire from Grant Hanley, the absolute desire to get there. The guy is... What is he doing there? Totally fine with that.
Yeah.
And the celebration at the end towards the Ipswich fans, I mean... It's very Chris Wilder, but I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, we gave Chris Wilder stick and Tim Close at the end there as well, applauding the Ipswich fans as well. I mean, just glorious. Yeah. We were having some of your lovely, I may add, chili downstairs before this.
Thank you, Jack.
And we were talking about the possible erection of a Grant Hanley statue in a few years.
Sorry to any under-18s that are listening.
Would you be up for maybe a Grant Hanley kind of this, just outside of the away end?
I'm going to put it out there now. We spoke of this beforehand. I don't normally come out with these shouts. By the way, Manson came out with an absolute clanger once. He said that Ryan Bennett would be the future captain of our football club and would stay here for years and years and years to come. Look, Grant Hanley...
I mean, I think I do also remember Rob Butler once saying he'd be one of the best England centre-backs. But... I mean, Ryan Bennett, let's not forget, he's most clean sheets in the league this season.
Who cares about Ryan Bennett? Who cares about Ryan Bennett? Grant Hanley, for me, will be better for Norwich City than Malky Mackay. He is. I'm looking at him and I'm thinking the way he is just dominating everything in the air, everything in the air, literally everything. He wins everything. He's ridiculously strong. And by the way, everyone talks about that cross in that game to Tim Close. Well, I tell you what, I was actually a hell of a lot more impressed with that challenge to stop Ipswich from scoring. I tell you what, fair play to Ipswich, and honestly, I don't think the Ipswich player could have done much more. Was it Waghorn, I believe? Yeah. Very, very fast, and I was again honestly expecting him to slot that past Angus, because you've got to from that distance.
He had 5 yards on
Hanley presses the boost button and gets there, and my God, I mean I celebrated that like a goal.
I mean, we've seen it even up to the lead up to the goal. It's almost like someone just injects him with his energy. And he just makes this ridiculous.
But the thing is, Jack, is we actually noticed this on his debut against Ipswich at Portman Road. He's so quick.
Yeah.
Look, with regards to the erection, as you say, Jack, a little bit early for that. But in 5 years' time, perhaps. Definitely captain contender, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, Rob Butler did tweet, make Hanley club captain.
Yeah. Well, because Tetty's going to leave, of course, at the end of the season. So I would like to see Hanley as captain.
Okay, so Timmy Close nods that in. 1-1 on the surface. We probably wouldn't have taken it, but you would have done because he predicted it. It's an interesting one, though, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't have taken it. I was disappointed with the draw, just to clarify.
Okay, but it's the aftermath of the game that just made this all so special, because we've beaten Ipswich 5-1, 4-1, semi-finals, FA Cup or League Cup semi-finals. We've done all that. It's boring now. What we've never really done before is given them so much hope.
Tease them.
Yeah.
Like a dog hanging a bit of bacon above its mouth.
Yeah, or maybe even a bit of well-cooked liver.
Yes, perhaps,
Like some liver. And then just snatch it away in a Swiss style. It was just stupendous, wasn't it?
I honestly couldn't breathe. I actually couldn't breathe, not only because I was being crushed up against the wall and almost falling off it.
If you want to go, though, that's the best way to go, isn't it?
Oh yeah, falling off the Barclay wall. That'd be some story, wouldn't it? That's for sure.
This is to remember the life of Chris Reeve, who sadly fell off the wall.
Luckily, shout out to the ground staff, because they actually put the training goals the other side of the wall, so I would have only fallen about 6 feet rather than 12. But you know what I always love about. What do you say about that? I mean, I can't say I was relieved. I can't say that I was actually in jubilation until I had to take a good 2 minutes to actually realise what had happened. I saw the cross go in, and then all of a sudden I was just mashed up against the wall. It was just it's like a weird dream.
I mean, there was a lot of Ipswich fans saying, and it's the easy dig after you've just conceded a last-second goal, isn't it, to say, well, why are you celebrating a 1-1 draw like it's your cup final? Well, it's just to see them Ipswich fans' faces at the end. It makes it just so special.
I actually saw 4 Ipswich fans crying on the little kind of, the bit where it goes under the bit where you can go under?
Yeah.
Genuinely crying.
Yeah.
And there was that video of that guy that was actually crying afterwards as well. I
mean, let's talk about the content that came up. First of all, the BBC Radio Suffolk commentator, and I've met the comment. Well, I've been in the vicinity of that commentator, and he's a top-class broadcaster, so there's nothing getting away from that. And I think it shows the value of BBC local radio. But I've never in my life heard a professional sound that genuinely heartbroken in all of my life.
Such a wail, wasn't it?
I mean, when will Ipswich ever beat them? Oh no! I think that could be my favourite piece of commentary ever, and that
really above Chris scoring Derby County.
Yeah, I think it is.
No,
I think
come on.
It is. And by the way, Chris's commentary on the closer goal was just brilliant as well.
Oh my God, he lost his shit as
well. So we've got that. We've then also got the Ipswich fan who was filming.
Clearly, then took his video down, but luckily a Norwich fan got it in time. So well done to you, whoever that was.
Yeah, who was filming, obviously waiting for that final whistle and the Ipswich end to erupt with their first derby win in a decade. And then Grant Hanley delivers the most sumptuous ball into Tim Close's Barnet. And
by the way, talk about that Barnet.
It's questionable.
But you know what? I reckon
if I let mine grow out,
it would be very Timmy K.
Oh, 100%.
I think you should go for it, man.
Go for it.
It's so in right now.
Is it? I just need to break my nose and...
Yeah, that's fine. You just need my nose and then happy days.
It's not that wonky. It's a bit wonky, actually.
Yeah,
Have you broken it before?
I'm just going for the tinny close, just,
It's fashionable now.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fashionable in Norfolk. But
questions.
We will get to the question. I've just got one more question. Are the playoffs off now?
The sensible answer would be yes. Of course, it's still possible. There is always a team that has a late charge. There's always a team that drops out. Look, it's going to be difficult. For me, I just want to see the boys end it on a promising note. I'd love to see us play Wolves this week and put in a valiant effort. And I'd love to see us win a few more games towards the end of this season.
See, I think the playoffs probably are realistically off now. And Jack Holmes raised a good point in his fan cam and said that I don't think we'd be ready for the Premier League next season. And that's always a shout. And I think another year on the Fark would probably benefit us if we do go up next season. But there's no better way to bow out of the playoff race than a last-minute equaliser against your arch-rival, so I'm happy with that. We're going to peak early here, Chris.
Are we?
It's that time of the week again. It's our main sponsor, Wilmots Limited, back again. The daily life of a contract groundsman. Come rain or sun, weeds will always outgrow grass, and he has a new header. Prepare yourself.
Oh my God, again.
It's fairly basic this week. Well, I say basic, it's probably the classiest yet. It's his new logo.
Oh, wow.
Which the brilliant Seth Ward designed.
A lovely logo.
He had a whole graphic redesign for the grand unveiling of
I
the
love
TNT
the fact he's got some
sponsorship.
green and yellow in there as well. Of course.
Of course. That was one of his requests. When he got my private jet sorted out of Norwich Airport and flew me out to his Abu Dhabi headquarters for his international dealings, he said, Jack, I want yellow and green in the logo. He said for the daily life of contract groundsman, come rain or sun, weeds will always outgrow grass.
Yeah.
We need that yellow and green.
Agreed.
Anyway, his question of the week is if we want to achieve promotion next year, we have to at least double the goals we've scored.
Yep.
Got to go 2 up front.
Yep.
This isn't a question, this is almost a statement from
Standard
Wilmots.
from Wilmots. He loves
Also,
it.
I do question Farke's substitutions, timing of them, and their impact. Wilmots, first of all, that's not a question, although he has put a question mark on the end, so I guess that counts. That's almost a statement, and by the sounds of things, you agree.
Well, we're singing off the same hymn sheet.
Off the same. Trying to think of a gardening pun here. Off the same
lawn.
Yeah, that works.
Anyway, I think Daniel Farke's substitutions are too late, and look, I want to say something right, which is that away from that statement, actually back onto the Jack Holmes question. I actually think I look at Leitner and I'm excited by that signing, and the reason why is I think now if you compare Daniel Farke when he signed Vrancic and Daniel Farke / Stuart Webber when they've signed Leitner, I think that now they know the player that they need to sign. They know that they need to be a robust, out and out, strong player that is technical as well, not just a fluffy technical player. And that's what excites me about next season.
A fluffy player.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
Vrancic is a luxury player.
I'll tell you what isn't fluffy, his hair.
He's got to go back blonde, by the way, and bring back the good times.
No, he does.
Anyway, Wilmots, 2 up front. I think that it will take a lot for Daniel Farke to change 2 up front. I think he's more likely to sell Nelson Oliveira and get a player that can play up front in his zone. I just still think that we're a squad that actually isn't what Daniel Farke wants to be playing with, to be honest. I think there's players in there that will definitely leave at the end of this season. I think that there's players in there that are stealing a living. I do. Names that we don't need to mention now.
And players that have been signed under previous regimes as well.
Look, exactly, which isn't their fault, to be fair, in respect to those players. But look, I'm more optimistic than anything, and the only bone that I've ever had to pick with Daniel Farke is his substitutions. I do not understand why he doesn't bring on players earlier to make more of an impact to get into games. And by the way, another thing that I need to say is, what is going on with Wes Hoolahan? Seriously, the guy's class. Don't tell me the guy has just dropped. Don't tell me the guy has gone from a 8 out of 10 guaranteed every single week to a 3 out of 10 that he shouldn't even be on the subs bench. Something's going on there, and for his testimonial season to be tarnished like this, for me, is disrespectful to him.
And I think you've got a point there, because it's definitely
he would have torn Ipswich apart.
The class is still there. The only problem is in this current system, I'm still not overly convinced with this system. I think the 5 at the back works wonderfully well, and I think the 2 sitting midfielders works well. The bits we've struggled with this season is going forwards. I think Murphy didn't have the best game, but if you want to bring Wes in...
I thought he did well in the first half.
I think he still looks weak. If
Wes.
If you want to bring Wes on, in this system, you have to sacrifice Maddison. There's no other option. There is no other option, because if you sacrifice Murphy, you lose your width. We need the width. So,
but then again, we've said it, Jack. I don't think we should be relying, as much as Madison's been our player this season.
So you would on Sunday you would
break.
have been happy to pull Maddison off.
No. So for me, look, the one obvious thing for me is Wes needs to be in for Vrancic.
But Vrancic wasn't playing at the weekend.
And the only reason why Vrancic is on the bench is because he's Daniel Farke's player. Wes Hulan is a better player. And actually, you heard what Benjamin said, and Benjamin isn't the only fan. And there's players out there that are genuinely scared of the Irish Messi. I don't know. It just seems a bit weird to me. Why is Wes not in that team? And we did mention it weeks back when it was going horribly wrong, and when we lost home to Brentford, we said, where are the experienced players gone? And I still think if we'd had some of our experienced players in and around that team, I don't think we would have lost as many games as we have.
I don't think Farke got it that wrong at all at the weekend in terms of the substitutions. I think his substitutions have been poor throughout the season, but I think
Now should have come on earlier for Josh again, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with that one. He's bloody quick, by the way. He's been learning a trick or two of Hanley, hasn't he? I think the flow of the game, it felt like if we keep this going, we would score. So I wasn't too fussed with the subs. I do agree, though. I don't think 2 up front is the answer, because we've done that before and it hasn't worked. But it still doesn't look balanced going forwards, and that's my worry. Doka Dogma, by the way, I still think that's one of the greatest names of all time.
What a name! Is that his real name?
Yeah, this is yeah.
Oh my god! Of course.
Yeah.
What a boy!
Have you ever regretted leaving a match early? Now he's mates with that lad who.
God bless him.
Oh God! I mean, it's questionable.
Watch the fan cam. You know which one it is.
I mean,
the title is there for you to enjoy.
Sticking on this point, I was cutting some video at work today. If you haven't already, go and check out ITV Anglia's Twitter page or Facebook page, and you'll see
plug.
Donny Blake, the legend that is Donny Blake, was standing outside because he'd come late, and he was standing outside waiting for the fans to come out to get the fan reaction. And then we scored. So you've got all of these people flooding out who, for whatever reason, left early, and then sprinting back in. But the funniest bit was there were some Norwich fans who obviously heard the goal, yet weren't going back in, and we're just walking like nothing had happened. It was almost like an egotistical point of view, and saying, well, I'm not fussed, I've left, so be it that we've just scored. What are you doing?
Very questionable.
I've left one game in my life early, and that was when we lost to Sunderland 3-0 in that Premier League game, and I genuinely had a breakdown after that.
I've never ever left early.
No, and I don't think you should. That is one thing I respect you for, Chris.
Cheers.
There's many more.
Cheers, bro.
You make a lovely chilli.
Cheers, thank you.
Your biceps are impeccable.
Not as good as the Sheffield United fan, though, mind.
No, Chris.
Cracking biceps.
Is it Chris? Oh, it must run down the name. Chris Cassidy.
Mm.
Canaries Live. Who would win a fight out of Grant Hanley or Diamersi and Bakani? Also, I do just want to add that I love how we clinched away Ipswich's hopes and desires in the last 5 seconds of the game. Hashtag quality. Hashtag Tim Pot. Hashtag 16 years, you deluded scummers. Canaries Live, by the way, fantastic Instagram account.
Wow, that's strong from Canaries Live, but fair play. Clearly he's been listening to my last few seconds in the matchday experience. Good man.
So who would win a fight?
By the way, on a serious note, Mbakani was a scary, scary man. I once asked him for a picture and instantly regretted it, because when he put his window down in his blacked out car, all of a sudden, you know, this face turned round at me, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill me. I honestly thought he was going to kill me.
Yeah, he was a great player. I loved him.
I mean, my favourite story, Jack, is of course yours, which is the grunt.
I mean, you were there.
He just grunts.
He grunts.
He doesn't talk.
No.
He's actually a beast.
Yeah, beast from the east.
But of course, Hanley would win it. Of course.
I think it'd be a great scrap, but I think Hanley's more of a no-nonsense kind of player. I could imagine like a McCartney rocking up in his, Louboutins and his
gold kind of shorts.
Yeah, and Hanley's
Hanley
rocking
just
up in his
headbutts him.
Lonsdale tracksuit, and he's just going.
Agreed.
No-nonsense,
Yeah,
proper
agreed.
man. George Chris, what did you think of the damage to the seats yesterday?
In the Norwich end?
Yeah.
Or the damage in the Ipswich end? Or was this specifically the seats?
This is the seats.
What did I think of it? I thought it was pretty funny. I've never, ever experienced such mental scenes in the Lower Barclay. Honestly, we've scored last-minute winners before. We've scored heroic equalisers. Adam Jury against Middlesbrough being my favourite. But, just the chairs breaking because the sheer amount of, as you youngsters say, limbs. It was quite spectacular. But I have actually got a cut right shin, which I'm not particularly happy about. I'm okay, I will live.
I think the definition of the proper youth was limbs all over the shop.
Right, okay.
For yesterday's.
Okay, yeah.
But in all seriousness, from a more serious point of view, that could have been quite dangerous, and it's even more reason to implement safe standing.
Agreed.
Because you've got cut shins. I know loads of people who got injured and seats were flying everywhere. There's someone tweeted me today and saying, great day, but a seat came flying towards my head at the end.
A seat?
Yeah, a seat.
Someone lobbed a seat?
Well, they were just going everywhere.
Oh
weren't
my
they?
God.
In all seriousness, I hope I do have a seat on Saturday, because when I sit down and eat my ham sandwich at half time,
I'm going to completely disagree with this. You don't need a seat because you don't sit down.
I do at half time when I'm eating my ham sandwiches.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You can sit on my seat if you want.
Thanks, mate. Norwich City Central, with the likes of Maddison, Gunn and Leitner are all likely to leave if the playoffs are not achieved. Will it be harder next season to get promoted, and therefore more imperative this season to go up?
Disagree straight away, because I don't think the longer time goes on, the more likely I think Maddison is to. I don't know. I just got this feeling at the moment that Maddison's going to stay. I think that he'll want to be the main man. I think he'll be advised, hopefully, by his agent. I think he's a mature guy, right? Because let's not forget, he picked Norwich over Tottenham and Liverpool to play football. Now,
he's a clever lad.
Look, exactly. I don't think he's as blasé and big-headed as everyone thinks. I think that he's got his head screwed on. So I think Maddison is likely to stay. And I'm a big believer, and I've got a kind of a conspiracy theory here, that I definitely think Leitner is going to stay.
You're almost convinced about that, aren't you?
Mate, honestly, I think that Leitner loves Daniel Farke, and why would Leitner come here? And I think it's Daniel Farke, again, like we did with Ipswich. He's got his bacon out, he's dangling it in front of Leitner saying, we'll give you first team football. And now we're giving it to him. I think it's happy days.
You know what I'd dangle in front of Leitner? And not what you're thinking. A business card for Esquire Barbers, because that is a dodgy barnet he's got.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible.
I just love the man. I'm so fine with it.
No, I'm not. Lewis Fuller saying, this is controversial, but I preferred Jamal Lewis's last-minute goal against Chelsea. Just so happy it was Jamal Lewis who scored it. Absolute scenes.
Look, I said it again. I think Timmy K he needed that goal because he was going to be lamented by the Norwich fans for such an inconsistent, all over the place performance. Again, the nerves got the better of him. I loved it when Jamal scored against Chelsea. Everyone saw the fact that I just went nuts on Twitter that night.
I do want to just read you this paragraph.
You're going to read me a story, Jack?
Yeah, I am actually.
It's
quite nice actually. It's from Zoe Whitford on Little Yellow Bird Project, and it's called Lovely Lovely Tim.
Okay.
And she put, when you get together with someone who seems way out of your league, so you spend the first part of the relationship worrying that they're going to leave you for someone better. Then
Premier League.
Time passes and they haven't left you, and the nature of the relationship changes. For some reason, they must really like you, and that makes you feel amazing and lucky, and maybe this is something special. And so to Tim Close, we've spent a turbulent 2 years feeling like he's too good for us, that he's unhappy, like he wants something better.
Yep.
But as this season has progressed, Tim seems content. He's enjoying himself. He likes us. We have to feel grateful. He's a rare footballer, gifted, but absolutely bonkers. A real eccentric. He nuts corner flags and wears blue loafers, but he puts his body on the line again and again. There's absolutely no one in the team I would have wanted to score a last-minute equaliser against Ipswich more than Tim. The celebration photo, eyes squeezed shut, mouth roaring, biceps bulging. That is a man who cares and wants to fight with us. We don't just love him, we love each other. And I just thought that was lovely. I really do. Zoe Whitford, that is the most beautiful paragraph I think I've ever read. And it's so true.
Well done.
Do you remember that day at Crystal Palace when he went off injured?
A season over.
It was, wasn't it?
Snads was asleep at that point, by the way.
It was, wasn't it? He didn't miss that. I just wanted to read that to you, Chris.
Thank you. Anyway,
questions? More questions, yeah. But we do have, on a serious level, we do have a lot of players that we can connect to, and I think that's been a problem in recent years. Right, let's get some more questions. Matt Self. All right, boys, it's time to add some width. Oh no, this isn't a Willamots. This is a question. Is it time to add some width?
Yeah.
There was nothing down the right hand side on Sunday. If only we had a right winger out on loan, Yannick Vilchka. Perhaps go back to a back four. And start getting some balls into Nelson. He needs service! !
Yeah, I think we've already discussed it. Agree.
Do we need more width? Is that the problem?
Yeah, definitely. I think when Hux came on the podcast, a few games back, Jack, he made it very, very clear that there was a lack of width, and obviously has the credibility to approve that. I think Josh. Again, when Josh came out wide at the weekend, I thought he did well. I thought he put them under pressure nicely, but the other side is not there. And
who are we playing there at the moment on the right wing?
Well, I think it's kind of a Nelson / Reed / I
don't know.
It's not really happening.
By the way, Reed, his celebrations again and pushing that pitch invader off just to make sure he didn't get arrested was beautiful as well.
By the way, Harrison Reed, could he stay? Would he stay?
Would he
take a wage drop to come?
I don't know. And you've said it before. Loan players don't often come and care that much. Boy, do our loan players care.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I think the loan players have been really, really good this season.
Next question. This is a question we can both get behind. Talk to me about Jamal Lewis and his legs. I want 2 minutes minimum talk about it.
Really? Should we do it? Should we actually time it? 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll get the stopwatch out. I'll get a stopwatch out on this bad boy.
Are we making this in the kind of 50 Shades type talk or 50 Shades of Lewis?
Oh my God, Jack, you're really... Yeah, this is quite questionable for you. Right, ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
Okay, so Jamal Lewis...
Right, I'll go straight into it.
Okay.
Leg press is the hardest... squats, leg press. I mean, the guy is definitely doing 8 sets, at least 12 reps. Yeah. Probably high repetition to begin with, and then going up. He's doing negatives as well, probably.
What's that?
With the size of his legs. So negatives is you're pushing up and then you're slowly bringing it back. Wow. And you're pushing up, you slowly bring it up. Not this quick kind of bouncing business. He's torturing his legs. I mean, the sheer rip between his hamstrings and his quads, his calves.
I mean, he must be knocking back 6 bulking pro-nutrition meals a day.
Well, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
And what was he drinking? Maybe egg yolks for breakfast.
But Jamal Lewis, if the small chance that you would listen to this or even come on, please can you tell us what the hell are you training on your legs, man? I'm jealous.
And maybe you could swap some ab techniques.
I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm sure he's got better abs than me, mind.
You know the thing I really struggle with the squat is my hips are really stiff.
I remember you struggling with that when we did a little session together, Jack.
My hips are just really tight and I just can't get down very far.
We've still got 30 seconds on this, but let's just focus on Jamal, Jack.
Okay.
The definition in those legs is quite something.
You know a good leg when it's... I'm not overly sure.
Ronaldo, CR7,
and it
leg extension
bulges
style.
Out there and then comes back in.
Yeah, there's that triangle there. It just...
I mean...
By the way, on a serious note, I think that his legs help him, and he's clearly an athlete.
Well, he is. He used to be an athlete.
And he was fantastic against Ipswich at the weekend.
Right, 10 seconds left. Final words on Jamal Lewis. One word to describe them.
Ridiculous. Out of proportion.
Preposterous. There you go.
Superb.
There you go, Greg. There's 2 minutes on Jamal Lewis's legs.
Well done.
There we go. And the next question, I'll tell you what, Charlie Summers, who's got the better legs, Jamal Lewis or Mitchell Dykes? That's another man who you wouldn't want to get in a fight with.
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, I agree.
Who's Mitchell Dykes?
Tom Cash, rank your best Derby Day moments since 2009. All of them. All of them.
No, I think no. Come on, that's actually a really good question because there's so many amazing ones, isn't there?
I genuinely think my favourite Derby Day moment, just for the narrative, was yesterday.
No,
no, I think it
come
was.
on, that's so short-sighted.
No, I think it was.
Come on.
No, I do.
We beat them 5-1 at Portman Road.
And we've done it before, so
and
it was
we beat
nice
them in
to
the
do
playoff
it a different way
semi-final.
yesterday. Yeah, no, they were great. They were very much needed for Norwich City's history, and they were fantastic. But yesterday was a bit different, and I liked it. I'm bored of beating them like.
I think that's a very hipster opinion.
I just really enjoyed the day. And I tell you what, I wasn't nervous throughout the whole game.
No, I know you weren't, which is so weird.
I was horrifically confident.
I was the other way.
Yeah, maybe that's why you don't savour that moment as much as me.
Yeah, maybe. For me, best Derby Day moment since 2009. God, there's been countless, hasn't there? Like, I mean, oh God, a single one. I think. I mean, the Grant Holt hat tricks.
Yeah.
I think when Grant Holt won that ball back, he didn't really expect to win it, but his desire got him there. And then
almost like Hanley.
The way he just slotted that ball past the keeper just with ease. Redmond, by the way, Redmond's leap into that photo of Redmond. Cameron Jerome to get us to Wembley. The Wes penalty.
Yeah.
Because he was Wes. I mean. There's so many.
I think my favourite Derby Day moment, actually thinking about it, is McCarthy telling his own fans
to fuck off
when they've scored. Beautiful moment.
Seriously, what is that?
Just a beautiful moment. Anyway, Neil Harrison asked if you could say one thing to Mick McCarthy, what would it be?
Thank you.
I'd shake his hand, I'd look him in the eyes and go, Mick, you're a good man.
Yeah, I would as well. Long live Mick McCarthy.
Bristol Rovers polls. Might be coming to Norfolk this Easter with the family.
I still question this. I wouldn't be disrespectful to our fans and viewers. Bristol Rovers polls.
Yeah. Bristol Rovers polls, battles, videos, and more. Any poll, battle, or video suggestion, feel free to DM us. #Bristol Rovers. #up the gas. So, where would you suggest going in Norfolk? Well, first of all, head to the finest piece of coast, Great Yarmouth.
Don't, honestly.
New investment into the seafront.
Tin
You've got
pot.
Harry Ramsden's, you've got arcades,
Tin pot.
horse racing, greyhound racing, golf.
That's it, honestly.
Pitch and putt, crazy golf, swimming in the sea,
It's all
Scroby
derelict,
Sands.
mate. It's dying. There's a reason why it needs the money, because it's so dead.
Or I would suggest, and you should know this from coming from an intelligent point of view, you invest in things that are on the up. Yarmouth's on the up.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Grosvenor Casino.
Well,
we've had a good night in Grosvenor Casino. Not that you should gamble.
You have, I haven't.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, when we went at Christmas and they were handing out free mince pies, that was a particular highlight of me.
Where should you go in Norfolk? You should go to Whitlingham Lake and you should walk around it like Tom Tribal and just breathe in the glorious Broadland air.
Yeah, in all seriousness, my favourite part of Norfolk is North Norfolk, Blakeney, Hunstanton.
You're so posh. You're so posh.
Yeah, but that is the best bit of Norfolk, isn't it?
Debatable.
Blakeney is beautiful.
I think a lot of people underrate the centre of Norwich as well.
Norwich, I think, is probably the best city in England.
All of the independence.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many fantastic wee restaurants to try out.
There is. What's your favourite restaurant?
God, that's a tough one.
In Norfolk, I'll give you Norfolk rather than just Norwich.
Oh my God. Well, I've eaten at so many, of course.
What's that Smill place? Stoke Mill.
I
need to go there. Can you take me there?
That's it. That is it.
Is
Stoke Mill.
It's
very much a fine dine. Actually, I found out through their social media because I'm a bit of a stalker.
Right.
Nelson Oliveira dines at Stoke
Mill.
Mill.
Does he?
That's how class it is. You can order like a 17-course meal at Stoke Mill, and the portions are like. Let's put it this way: it's not the average football fan's meal, but anyway, it's nice.
If I'm going to Stoke Mill,
it's a special occasion.
I'm coming out expecting to go on a horrible goal drought. If Nelson goes there,
quite possibly, yeah.
Right, okay. So yeah, North Norfolk, Blakeney, go crabbing.
Yeah.
I'm good at
on a serious note, don't waste your time. Grey Yarmouth is not.
If you do come by, pop in for a cuppa. Scott Dack, when is Willamot's going to get his own segment on the podcast? You know what? I've thought about this. In the summer, we should go on one of his jobs and like cut the grass or something and make a podcast.
Behind the scenes with Willamot's.
Yeah.
In his tractor or on his lawnmower.
Yeah.
or even just rolling on the grass with the nuts.
James Hastings, when is the next away game Chris is going to? We've seemed to have done very well since he stopped going.
I'm going to be at QPR. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, QPR's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Barnsley?
Nah.
SGP, hi guys, seriously concerned that we're almost like agony aunts sometimes, aren't we? It's almost therapy for both us and the viewers.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm seriously concerned with Nelson's recent goal return. Looks like he's struggling for confidence in front of goal and might need a rest. Is it time to give Dennis Sabreni a start?
I've got a weird one with Dennis, with the big D at the weekend. I mean, when he came on, you almost passed out. But I'm looking at the pictures of him, and again, I'm thinking, the guy hasn't got any emotion.
Oh, I love that though.
No, I don't. Like, we just scored. He
did go mental.
No, he didn't.
No, he did.
Jack,
he did.
Don't deny the
no,
truth.
He did.
Look at the pictures.
I thought you would.
It's so weird. He didn't even cheer.
Yeah, but what we've got, Chris, is the beautiful contrast between utter madness, Tim Close, and
Big D,
and Hanley.
Yeah, who just don't give two. No. Strange, very strange.
No, it's not. Sabreni's smaller than I thought he was.
By the way, Srebeni, is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
Okay, let's just stick with Big D. I've just decided that's what we're going to call him now. Big D looks like a 30-year-old James Maddison.
He does actually. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's the hair, I think.
Let us know in the comments if you agree with that.
Ryan Clark, how many times have you watched that Tim Close goal today?
6.
Is that all?
Yeah.
I've watched it with the Radio Norfolk commentary.
Oh, yeah, Radio Suffolk.
The Radio Suffolk commentary. The Ipswich fans' view. The view from the Barclay. And the Sky Sports version.
Yeah.
So I've watched 5 different versions, probably about 10 times each.
But of course, all of the best content is over on @TalkNorwichCity.
Here. But we can't, of course, show goals.
All matchday experiences.
Ben Woodward, it's been 3,228 days since Norwich lost to Ipswich.
What a stat.
Can this number be higher than their average at home attendance?
No, I don't think it can, even by Ipswich's standards. They've got to beat us. They've got to. By the way, I'm going to put out there, as soon as they sack Mick McCarthy, I think they'll beat us. I think Mick McCarthy
I think McCarthy's holding them together.
You actually reckon that Mick McCarthy is now...
The ownership's the problem.
Who
For
cares
me,
anyway?
and who am I to say, coming from an Irish fan speaking. By the way, this picture of Daniel Farker.
So fine with that.
So fine with that. It's the one of him celebrating the goal.
Yeah. Desperately trying to keep us cool.
Basically, Sam Rednall saying, never mind what moron Mick may not have shouted towards his own fans. How can you not find Daniel Farker's reaction to our goal much better?
Yeah.
That's that indeed. That's all of the questions. Quick word on Wolves. That's tomorrow night.
Or tonight, as you'll be...
No, tomorrow. It's Wednesday.
Oh, it's
I was
Wednesday.
trying to be clever there, but you've done it. You've ruined it, Chris.
Sorry, Jack. Bit confusing when we film all these things.
Wolves. The top point, is this pretty much a write-off?
Yeah.
They're good, aren't they?
They're so good.
Yeah.
It pains me to see that Ryan Bennett and John Ruddy are doing that well. Like, honestly, I just think that, I don't know, it just annoys me how Norwich fans suck up to John Ruddy, to be honest with you.
You're not a massive fan of Ruddy, are you?
I just don't think he's been... Like, everyone acts like John Ruddy's like the best goalkeeper Norwich have ever had. I think they're deluded. Absolutely.
Do we have to win this to keep the playoff dream alive?
Yes.
What system would you take into this
On
game?
a serious note, if we do beat Wolves, Jack, Reeve...
Oh, it gives you that
is the
hope
playoffs
again, doesn't
on?
it? It gives you that hope again. Yes, it is.
If we beat them?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the scenes if we beat Wolves away? We're not going to beat Wolves away. Didn't they draw to Preston?
They did. And by the way, Alex Neil, he's very close to the playoffs right now.
Hello, guys.
Imagine if Alex Neil sneaks in there.
Preston, though.
I think it might happen, mate.
Preston, mate.
I think they've lost 1 in 14.
Preston, mate.
Preston of Preston. And to be fair, I've
How
written
are
down.
Birmingham doing, by the way? Birmingham.
Oh, I think
Still
they're struggling.
19th.
Yeah, I think they're struggling big time. Birmingham are indeed Birmingham. One of the top comments actually on the match day experience was, "I love how Chris just rips into every opposition, and then he's left like a ton of lines. So you've got to click see more, and then it just says Birmingham are Birmingham."
I just love Norwich. I don't hate the opposition. I just think Norwich are a better club.
And I've written down here. It was a night game at Wolves at home, wasn't it? We were poor and we lost 2-0. But Marley Watkins hit the post and could have put us 1-0 up.
By Marley Watkins, what's going on there as well?
The weird thing was, at the weekend, you know when we were all...
Why is Wes not in the team over Marley Watkins?
We were all still in the Barclay for a good 15 minutes after the game.
Oh yeah,
and the players were all warming down.
Yeah,
and we're all going mental, and Watkins doesn't even care.
I wouldn't normally like to turn the knife, but I'm with you, Jack. I think he looks like a man that's off.
Yeah, I mean, I know his grandfather's a famous poet, but there's only so much love you can give.
I'm with you, Jack. I'm afraid. I think he's as good as gone.
And then let's look forward. We've got a game this Saturday as well. At Carrow Road. It's Bolton.
A must win.
Yeah,
I mean,
must win,
regardless of whether. Wow.
What's this?
This is check bank account.
Is this what comes?
Hang on, get to the chorus. I say yeah.
Right, that's enough. Copyright.
Sorry,
Wow.
that's really put me off there. Bit
Don't
Bob
forget
Marley.
to check the bank accounts.
Where was I going with that? Wolves? No,
Bolton.
Got to win. Regardless of whether the playoffs were on or off, I think that after did we lose to Bolton away?
We did, yeah.
Got to put that right.
Chris, we've discussed a lot. I think it's been a very. We've had some very tough podcasts to dissect this season, haven't we? But this has been very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
We've not even spoken about half the stuff in the script, believe it or not.
It took me at least 10 minutes to put together, and we've hardly read it.
Jack, top man.
Yeah. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on iTunes. Thank you to Lee Croft for the shirt. Thank you to you for putting the shirt up on your wall.
Oh no! Shout out to @CheesyGeezer, who is the #1 Norfolk cheeseman, who also delivers. By the way, Simon Cheeseman, great with the suits. But John Killett @CheesyGeezer on Twitter hangs these fantastic shirts, and what a man!
Nothing like a good hanging shirt. Chris, thank you very much, my friend. I'll see you next week.